Konnichiwa minasan. Murray Sensei desu. So I wanted to make this video for you guys because I couldn't find any videos or web pages with instructions on how to use different forms of the word but in Japanese, or a way to compare something contrasting. So just like in English, we have multiple ways to express contrasting things. Like we have but, however, on the other hand, so on and so on. In Japanese, it's the same thing. There's a lot of ways to say buts, but so we're gonna focus on kedo, ga, shikashi, and demo. So let's start with part one. It says, let's practice using different forms of but. Read each sentence and fill in the blank with kedo, ga, shikashi, or demo. Be sure to pay attention to the structure of the sentence and consider which conjugation fits appropriately. Okay, so pretty basic here. We're just going to fill in the blanks with either kedo, ga, shikashi, or demo. But how do we know which one goes in there? Well, first of all, we have of the four forms of but that we have two general categories. So let's start with kedo and ga. So these forms of but come are in the middle of a sentence, basically. So these do not come at the beginning of a sentence, or in other words, at the end of a period. These will come in like in the middle, so before a comma per se. So I have an example here for you guys. It says kare wa omoshiroi, and then kedo. So notice I have kedo and I have ga. So since they're in the same kind of category, we can use we can say kare wa omoshiroi kedo, or we can say omoshiroi ga. Either is fine, just choose one. So I'll say kare wa omoshiroi kedo yasashiku nai. So these are contrasting opinions about this person. He is funny, but he is not nice. Yasashiku nai, not nice. So if you notice, that comes in the middle of the sentence before a comma. All right. So we could also say kare wa omoshiroi ga yasashiku nai. Okay, so main thing to get here is that these are in the middle of a sentence. Now let's think about the katachi, or the form of these. So what you do is you would add these after a dictionary verb. Kedo. Or it comes directly after an E adjective. So after a na adjective or a noun, you would do da kedo. You can say da kedo, or you can say more formally des kedo. And then after a na adjective, what would you say? Shizuka. You can say shizuka. Deska, daga. I think for after a not adjective for ga, you would just say deska, or daga would be fine too. So same thing, kedo and ga. Hard to think about that one for a minute. Okay, so does that cover everything? Verb, adjectives, noun, yeah. So if you're using ga or kedo in the middle of a sentence, you're gonna just want to add it after the dictionary verb. These are verbs like taberu, suru, kuru, suru, or I already said that. Kiku. So these are the short form of verbs. And you can also use them after. You can use a formal verb before ga. It sounds a little bit more funny with keto because keto is less formal than ga. So kind of makes more sense to add the casual verb with keto and then the formal verb with ga, but it's okay to use ga after a dictionary verb too. And then for the adjectives, yeah, hopefully that's explanatory. Okay, so that's the first kind of adjective. Now our second kind that we're going to focus on is demo and shikashi. Now these forms of but come after a period, so they come at the beginning of a sentence. Now let's look at our example. So we have yushoku no tame no gohan ga arimasu, period. Demo niku ga arimasen. Or shikashi niku ga arimasen. Now a note on shikashi. This is important. Shikashi is used for formal writing. So we typically don't say that if we're speaking. So formal writing. So you notice in the flip grid, I specifically say to not use shikashi since you're speaking. But if you're writing, it's okay. So yushoku no tame no gohan. So yushoku is dinner. Tame is for the purpose of. So yushoku no tame no gohan, meal or rice. So the rice that's for dinner, you have it, ga arimasu. And then niku ga arimasen. Niku is meat, and then arimasen is like it doesn't exist, you don't have it. Okay, so if you're going to add demo or shikashi at the beginning of a sentence, it's pretty much just straight up, that's it. You don't have to like really worry about conjugations, like if you're adding it in front of a adjective or noun or verb. Since it's at the beginning of a sentence, it's pretty easy. Now, let's see what else to go over. So yeah, for the first part one, you're just gonna fill in the blanks. Just pay attention to if it comes before a comma or after a period, and that'll tell you which of the kind of verbs to use. Just to cover that again, if it's before a comma or in the middle of a sentence, you use keto or ga. And then if it comes at the beginning of a sentence after a period, then you use demo or shikashi. And when do you use shikashi? For formal writing. Okay, you don't use it when you speak. Now part two, just listen to the audio, try to pay attention to the details and fill in the blanks here. And then part three, I give you some sentences in English, and then I want you to translate them into Japanese. Now, just be careful and pay attention to if there's a comma in there or if there's a period before the but, and then that'll tell you if you should, which form of but you should use, and then create your own. And then I'll also ask you guys to provide an English translation here, just so I can be sure I know what you're trying to say in case there's some discrepancies. All right, I hope that was helpful. Just reach out to me if you have any questions or need to clarify anything or just practice. Always happy to help. All right, ganbatte kudasai. じゃあね。